We are the Blender community, where business and media mix.
All right. So in local radio, I know just from having been a fan of y'all's show for like forever, longer than I've had a son, like a long time, and watching you guys over the years, I know that local radio can kind of live or die depending on your relationship with the community. It's more secure when you've built those bonds with the community. But how have you seen that element of things kind of change in the media landscape over the years?
So, when we first came to West Palm Beach 26 years ago,
It's been a while.
it was crazy. We were new and young and not divorced, like all those things. We were so fresh.
Fresh-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Exactly. Now, we've been through the fire, and it's a weird time to be in media.
Yeah.
But it's also a great time, too, because there's all these new ways for people to find your show. There's all these new streaming platforms at YouTube, live show. Like, there's so many fun things that we never could have dreamed of 26 years ago. So it's scary for, traditional terrestrial radio. But there's so many other places where people can find us that hopefully, knock on wood, that we won't be old dinosaurs.
Yeah, and actually, we're going to talk about a little bit about that and the impact and how it ties into everything we're going to be talking about today in a little bit, because it's a really important piece of it that y'all have been kind of a step ahead at the as leading the pack. And hey, we can do this, we can do that, we can make ourselves available here, there, and everywhere. So we are going to talk about that in a moment, but let's talk about KVJ Cares more specifically. So even though doing philanthropy work isn't about like the bottom line exactly, like at least not in the traditional direct impact business sense. But can you talk a little bit about how being so involved in the community has really helped promote your position of leadership and secured the KVJ show as a whole?
Yeah, so we realized pretty early on that South Florida is very philanthropic.
Yeah.
Lots of charities, lots of causes, lots of ways to meet people and grow your brand through charity. And then it just feels good too. You're helping people. And really, a lot of the great charity stuff that we've been blessed to be able to do over the years, it's been just as great for us as it has been for the people that were beneficiaries, because you feel good when you do nice things for people that are in crappy situations. It really makes you feel like, I am a freaking superhero when you can send a kid to Disney after they finish chemo. That is an awesome feeling. So we realized that pretty early on. We found Little Smiles very early on, and Little Smiles is turning 26. We're turning 26. So it's kind of like we've grown up together.
Yeah.
And we've, along the way, got to work with lots of other charities too. We really believe in the mission of helping sick kids. We just gravitated to that. And really, we work with Maddie's Fight Foundation as well. Maddie was a star at our Little Smiles Stars Ball, and sadly, Maddie lost her battle to osteosarcoma, but her parents started the foundation to keep the dream alive of helping kids going through childhood cancer. And, where Little Smiles does gifts and trips and iPads and stuff like that for the kids, Maddie's Fight gives cash money to the families, to the parents,
for medical bills and everything else that they're facing. Yeah.
Rent.
Yeah.
Power bill to keep the lights on. So they're two beautiful charities that really have been very instrumental in teaching us how to do it. And then just, I would say, in the past year, we really tried to hyper-focus in on KVJ Cares and being able to, work with kids, work with grownups, work with anything that comes our way, courtesy of KVJ Nation, where there's a need, a medical issue, a crisis, a house fire, a domestic situation where there's a homeless mom. And like we've just been able to expand, not just working with kids, but now working with everybody and being able to touch KVJ Nation more. So we get recommendations from KVJ Nation on who we need to help.
Let me tell you, you can't see it, right? And certainly listeners can't hear it, but I am getting chills like nobody's business right now, like over and over and over again. Like I'm all goosebumpy. Like this is just such a wonderful thing. And, you know, when I was looking back and preparing for talking to you today, I remembered that the first time I ever met you was because you showed up in person for a fundraiser that I was doing through something that you had been talking about on the radio, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
Yes.
And it was just this magical moment where I was like, oh, she really does care. Like, this is amazing, right? And it bonded me. I was already a fan, but it like bonded me so much more to you guys as a show and as real human beings. And I met Maggie that day, and it was just, it was really amazing. By the way, side note for everybody listening, every time we refer to KVJ Nation, what you're talking about are your community of listeners. So I just want to clarify that. Friend was like, what's KVJ Nation? KVJ Nation is your community of listeners. And so through KVJ Cares now, it's like this big arcing umbrella. And, just to run down some of the things that I've seen you guys do recently. Like Bamboozle was just last weekend or something, like a couple weekends ago. Bamboozle is this adult scavenger hunt through West Palm Beach. That's a big fundraiser for Little Smiles. There's Project Smile with West Palm Beach Police Department, Maddie's Fight Foundation, which you mentioned. One of my personal favorites from a visual standpoint, Captain Crust and Princess Pepperoni, which we'll talk about a little bit, but bringing free pizzas to people at different places like Hannah's Home. And then there's also Eddie Bear Foundation. Like there's just so many different ways that you touch upon things. So when you go out there and you do stuff and KVJ Nation brings you stories and you guys get involved and you jump in, and how do you then share those stories? How do you help those stories really grow some legs? And in the case of like Maddie's Fight Foundation, grow a legacy?
Yes. So I think it starts small, and it starts with just, you have to vet stories. You have to find out that, indeed the situation is being told properly, and you find out, the details. And once we figure out that, okay, this is really a real need, and this is a person that we can help, and we can use the power of the radio, that's when I get like excited, because
that's when you get the goosebumps.
Yeah. We're using our power of this radio station that we've been blessed to work at for good. It's not just fart jokes.
Right.
Now it's like we're doing something amazing. We're changing a life of a KVJ Nationer. We're changing a week. We're changing a day. We're giving somebody a smile when they didn't feel like they had anything to smile about. And for us, that's like, it's selfishly makes your day. You're making somebody else happy, but you're also filling like your soul with just joyful moments.
Yeah. Well, on the other side of that coin, though, I'm sure there's some moments that are really hard and really tough. Yes. How do you get through those tough, just kind of reality breaking moments?
So, those suck. And we've lost a lot of kids from, going to the hospitals and meeting the families and having the kids at the Stars Ball and being involved. And the closer you are to the families, the more it hurts when we lose a kid. And it's devastating. Yeah. And we try to, I try to not get as personal as I once did. Like at one point, I was at people's houses a lot. I was, with families at hospice when kids were passing away. But for my own self-preservation, I had to kind of say, okay, you can help people without being so emotionally invested and close and in this family. You can still help this family without breaking your own soul and your heart. So I did. I had to learn to, help
Mm-hmm.
and give, and also boundaries. I had to put up boundaries because I was getting too close to situations, and then I would be like inconsolable
Yeah.
when these kids would pass away. It was beyond heartbreaking, and it's a self-preservation thing. I can help better, and I can help my own psyche better when I'm not so emotionally involved and in the house and with the family. And like, I can't do that anymore like we did when we first started. But I can help better now. I can help smarter now. I can help more families, but by doing it the right way. Does
That's
that make
actually a good,
sense?
absolute 100%. And when you're talking about it, I know we're talking about emotions and the charitable side of things, but there's also a mirror to the financial side of things, because if you are like someone who's just very generous in money and like, I want to give away this and help someone with that. I mean, or if you as a business don't want to charge what you're really worth, then you hinder your capacity to really help people. And so in an emotional sense, it's the exact same thing. If you don't preserve yourself and your core and your heart, then your well runs dry, and then you're not good you can't do it anymore, right? So
Exactly.
it's a tough lesson, but it's a good lesson. And I really appreciate that you found that perspective, because I remember hearing those stories back in the day and of hospice and being at bedsides, and it was tough. And I appreciate the direction that you've kind of gone in. I've seen you go in lately, and some of those directions can be quite amusing. So if just as a side note, if you had never heard about Bamboozle, you need to know about Bamboozle, because I couldn't do it this year. I have a foot injury, but man, when I've done it before, it was like the best day ever. But also, can you please explain who are Captain Crust and Princess Pepperoni, and what do they do, and how did this all start?
So this is Jason's idea, 100%.
Kel
You know,
Surprise.
he's been right. He's a pizza lover.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obsessed with pizza. And for many years now, he's wanted to do something where we show the power of pizza. You can make people smile. You can change their day.
His mom went into labor at a Pizza Hut. I think he knows from the very beginning of life the power of pizza.
Yes, pizza can break your water. So his idea turned into, him creating this superhero, and then him coming up with an idea for, me to be a superhero. And so it's been fun. It really has. It's been a fun, exciting new thing that we've been able to grow. And now we're getting requests. We've gone to Joe DiMaggio. We've gone to Palm Beach Children's. We're getting requests to go all over and change people's day with the power of pizza. It's small, but very, very special, especially when you see their little faces light up when you walk in with these stacks of pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everybody's like, oh, yeah. Like,
I don't know anybody who doesn't like pizza, so it is a crowd favorite. I love it. That's awesome.
The power of pizza.
That's right. Who knew? Well, Jason knew.
Yeah, he was right.
Yeah, he was right. So whether it's through Captain Crust and Princess Pepperoni or Bamboozle or anything else that you guys, because I know there's such a big, we could talk about so many things, just to give people a really solid idea of what we're talking about here, what kind of stories. Can you share one story in particular that stands out for you right now?
Well, right now we're getting geared up for the Little Smiles Holiday Toy Drive.
Oh, yay.
We have to start collecting toys now because we start getting requests in November.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of facilities, a lot of need in Palm Beach County, a lot of kids that, without this program wouldn't get a toy for Christmas. So It really is an amazing thing that we've already started working on. I know you mentioned the Eddie Bear Foundation.
Yeah.
I'm going out with Eddie this weekend to start collecting toys. And, we're going to start warehousing them, organizing them, because at Christmas time, we get thousands of requests and thousands of toys, tens of thousands of toys will go out this year. And it is very exciting to think about what this grew from just a small little project that we started to now it's a beautiful thing that you see so many kids and families that would not have Christmas otherwise have Christmas because of the Little Smiles Holiday Toy Drive. I go to the trailer park and I go to Section 8 housing. I go to areas that, these families aren't paying their water bill. They're not paying their power bill. You think they're going to have Christmas for the kids? They're just not. They're not able to figure out how to make basic ends meet. And so when you hand a mom with 5 kids a giant sack of all these toys, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. You change her Christmas, the kids' Christmas. And, we always say these kids, they didn't ask to be in this situation. And the parents are embarrassed to be in this situation. So, even though we see a lot of the same families year after year, we don't care. You know what? It's about making sure that Christmas is magical for that kid. And it doesn't matter what circumstance put us here. All we care about is the end result, a smile on Christmas morning.
Amen. No judgment, just help.
Nope.
I love it.
Just help. Help.
And as you're talking about the toy drive in particular, it's making me think about how many different ways that you and the community come together to make these kinds of things happen. And it's not just a toy drive, it's everything. But as examples, it's someone in KVJ Nation sharing their friend's story for you guys so it can get some attention. It's people helping out by donating toys. It's people helping out by helping to organize the toys. I'm sure that's a whole project in and of itself.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, I remember a few years ago, our mutual friend, good friend, Lynn, our girlfriend, she was going to, I believe it was Joe DiMaggio, and I forget, there was a name for it, but I forget it now what it was called, but it was to bring them just a whole bunch of snacks, right? And so she's like, hey, I can bring in an extra person. You want to do it? I'm like, absolutely, I want to do it.
Yeah, so we used to call them junk food runs.
It was the best day ever. Oh, go ahead.
Now they call them like snack food runs because junk food has a negative connotation. But when you're in the hospital, I mean, we all know hospital food sucks.
Yeah.
And so to be able to have like fun snacks, that can make a big difference for these families that are sometimes there for weeks.
Yeah. So what we did was we met up at a big box store. We each grabbed a cart and we just grabbed stuff off the shelves, and then we drove over to the hospital and we got some wagons and we just loaded up. We went room to room, and then whatever was left over, we got to put it in their community room. It was just like such a wonderful experience that warms my heart thinking about it even so many years later. And so when you involve people in so many different ways, it allows people to capture the moment that you were talking about, that feel-good moment. I mean, I even have done, had the opportunity to do Feeding South Florida with you guys and make some meals and stuff like that. Like the ideas are almost endless. And you mentioned South Florida is very charitable, but you bring that spirit to the forefront for all of us. And so if you could wave a magic wand and, help a certain particular need, whether it's specific to a family or not, just a certain particular need, what would you say would be your front runner?
Oh my gosh, probably childhood cancer.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had that magic wand to eliminate childhood cancer, I think I would take it that way. You see little ones like 2 and 3 years old that are they're babies. Like, it's devastating. And it doesn't just affect, the child, but the parents, the siblings.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times the siblings are forgotten. Like childhood cancer, it wrecks the whole entire family.
Yeah.
And I just hate to see the little guys suffer.
Yeah, it's very, very devastating. And you're right. What people sometimes don't think about is how it affects everybody else in the family. I had a really good friend named Lee Silverstein. He was my dear friend for probably about 6 or 7 years. I got to know this man. He was in my life, and he had a show called We Have Cancer. And the purpose of it was about how the whole family has cancer when somebody has cancer, and how it affects everybody. And, he put so much out into the world that I promise you, he was such an outlier on how long he lived. It was colon cancer, how long he lived, that I feel like it was just the good karma coming back to him, and so you guys put out so much good karma yourselves. And one of the things I find really interesting is you've utilized like every known platform you can, right? There's the radio, obviously. You have people come on and share their stories, which is amazing. There's, the website has it, kvjcares.com, your Instagram. But one of the things I was alluding to earlier was that you guys are always on the forefront of things. And one of the things you guys did before like anybody else was flip your daily radio show into a podcast. So every day around, in the afternoon, early afternoon, all of a sudden shows up on your podcast feed. That eliminates all boundaries, right? So now the local community is still your core, but now there's tentacles with no bounds. And so how have you seen that impact the reach of this work beyond our local community?
We have to give Kevin all the credit on that one. So he has always been like a big thinker, 10 steps ahead. People made fun of him at radio conferences when he was talking about doing video 15 years ago.
Yes, I remember.
They were like, what are you talking about? We're radio. We're not video. Now, guess what? We're all video.
Right.
So Kevin was right, and you guys were wrong.
I love it. Screenshotting that for later.
But it really is. It's exciting. It's fun. It's allowed us to be able to think of the possibilities of, even if radio does go away, we still could take this thing to YouTube. We could take it to, another platform. We could take it to a streaming service. We could, it's exciting to think that we have been lucky enough to be here for so long that we have this fan base that now will support whatever crazy ideas Kevin comes up with, whatever platform he wants to put us on. We've got a really loyal, awesome fan base that it wants to have a good time, wants to come to support live events, charity events. Like we are really, really blessed in that respect. But Kevin is the visionary for all the platforms. I am not the tech person.
Well, I can tell you this, though. Everything that you're expressing as far as people supporting you is a reflection of what you guys do and who you guys are. I mean, you guys are truly a family to each other. For Christ's sake, your husband was like Jason's best friend in middle school or whatever. Like it goes way back. Y'all are like truly a family. And the way that you treat your listeners and your community, whether through the airwaves or actually live in person, is like family. And that certainly is spoken to in volumes through what you do through your charitable and philanthropic work. And so I just want to say thank you for that sense of family and community that you provide us. And, any benefit that comes your way is more than well deserved. How can people connect with KVJ Cares and support you guys and what you're doing?
I love this. So this is the best way to feel better. If you are feeling depressed, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling like you don't really have a vision for what's going on in your life, go help somebody who's doing worse. You can always find somebody who's doing worse than you. I promise you. And what you walk away from after you help somebody else who needed you is a renewed sense of soul and purpose. I really I think it is such a hidden secret to making yourself happy is to help somebody who really needs it. who's really in a bad spot. So with Little Smiles, you can go right on the website. You can volunteer. There's a whole link right there, and you have to fill out, some paperwork. Same thing, Maddie's Fight Foundation. They have a website. They are on social media. You can volunteer to sign up for any of their events as well. For KVJ Cares, you can really help us by giving us a heads up. If you see a family in need, if you see people in our community, and especially a KVJ Nationer who, needs some love, if you find out that we can help somebody with the power of pizza, let us know.
Oh my God. Don't say that too loud. My son will hear. Give him ideas. It's not for you, Jordan. It's not for you. Well, oh my gosh. Thank you so much. This has been an awesome, awesome conversation. And I wish y'all nothing but the best of luck and success.
Thank you so much. And I can't wait to see you at upcoming events.
Yay!
The KVJ horror movie premiere
I
is going to
can't
be
wait.
October 11th. So mark it on your calendar.
Oh my
I'm sure
gosh. I'm going to put links to a lot of things in the show notes. And you just gave me an idea to put links to the past KVJ horror movies where people may or may not see me get murdered.
I think we all get murdered, so
at least
you
once.
weren't getting picked on. We all die.
Oh, it's my request. I say, Jason, if I'm doing it this year, you better make sure I get murdered.
I love it. I love it. Well,
thank you, Virginia.
I hope we get to film together.
Absolutely.
All right. Best of luck to you with the podcast and everything, sweetie.
Likewise.
Mwah. Mwah.
We are the Blender community, where business and media mix.